What's going on, y'all? Happy Thursday. I'm Jeff Michael, Sports with Balls. Welcome into the show. Hopefully you're going to have a good one today. Getting going early. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. However you're listening, whenever you're listening, I do appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning into the show, man. Here we go. NFL football tonight. Excited about it. I don't know if you guys are or not. It is the Bills and the Dolphins. Should be an incredible game. We'll get into that here in a little bit. We'll get into the injury updates from the running backs from the Dolphins. It's not looking good. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Get into a little bit of baseball today. The Houston Astros aren't looking too good, man. They have dropped way down. I think they're only 3.5 games up on Seattle now in that division with a 3-game set coming soon to Houston, so that ought to be interesting. We'll touch on some other stuff going on. The, race for Ohtani to get to 50-50 was the Major League Baseball. That we've never had that. We've never seen a 50-50 year, and that ought to be very, very fun to watch. Hopefully they get a little bit more coverage on that because that's a historic feat for Major League Baseball. Today's show brought to you by Christian's Tailgate Bar and Grill. Get over to Christian's Tailgate. There's got to be one near you somewhere, somehow. The place is flat out amazing. They've got goat yoga going on this weekend, I believe. They will have Buffalo Bills Mafia, one of the bars. There's 5 locations. I think they have a Dolphins one. Anyways, the place is amazing. Go watch your sports there. The food is incredible. They've got food award-winning hamburgers. So get over to christianstailgate.com. Find one near you. Also, Conroe Sports Cards and Collectibles Show coming next weekend. I will be there. The place is this thing's amazing. We did it last week or 2 weeks ago, and I'm sorry, and the kids had a blast. It is a free event. They've got giveaways, PSA drop-offs, 200-plus tables. Conroe Sports Cards and Collectibles. There it is. Look it up. You guys get over there as soon as you can. Also, my man, Wesley Butler at Butler CCS through water damage restoration. He's a master water restorer. He's certified. He's got tons of certifications. This guy's flat out unbelievable. Mold remediation. Get over to Butler CCS INC. Fire, mold, roofing, whatever. The guy's got it all. Get over there. Get it done. All right, now we got all that out the way. Let's get to some sports. But, sorry. It is September the 12th, and of course, as always, we start the show off. What national day is it today? Here's a big one. It is National Video Game Day. My son's going to go crazy. Too bad he's got baseball practice when he gets off school. Maybe I'll let him play tonight. What was your favorite video game? Mine growing up, I got to tell you, Zelda. I remember playing it with my buddy. I constantly, for hours on end, we played The Legend of Zelda. It was phenomenal. That was my favorite video game. Hit me up on Facebook. Let me know what your favorite one is. Speaking of, September the 12th, Are You OK Day. I don't know what that means. National Chocolate Milkshake Day. Get you a chocolate milkshake. National Police Woman Day. Day of Encouragement. Report Medicare Fraud. All right. And National School Picture Day. We've all got one of those. A really bad one, too. It's 2 Chainz. It's his birthday today. Busy Bone is his birthday today, too. Who else we got? Paul Walker. Rest in peace, Fast and Furious Paul Walker. And listen, this is a big one for me. Somebody out there has to know this girl. Get me in touch with her. Sydney Sweeney. It's her birthday. So I know for her birthday she wants to meet me. So somebody do that. I appreciate it. Those are your national birthdays on national holidays on September the 12th. We'll get into events in today's history later on. But now let's get into this game tonight. Excited about it. I think that it's on Amazon Prime, if I am correct. And let's see what the spread. I do have some bets today, too. We'll talk about those. Miami minus 2.5. Woo. Look, I don't know if either one of the running backs are going to be available. Mostert is out. We know that. Now you've got Achane. I guess he's going to go through some pregame warm-ups to try to be available for tonight's game. it doesn't look good for either one of the running backs. So gambling-wise, both these teams are 1-0. This is in Miami. I'm probably going to take the Bills plus the 2.5 or Bills straight up. If you don't have Mostert or Achane in this game, this is going to be a pass-heavy game. The over is 48.5. I see a shootout. I do. This will be Tua Tagovailoa throwing the ball everywhere and Josh Allen doing the exact same thing. Tua Tagovailoa, I believe, if I'm correct, leads the NFL in passing yards at this moment. I think he had 338 last week, 23 of 37. Yeah, 338 and 1 touchdown. Josh Allen had 232 and 2 touchdowns. But the big thing is here, Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane are both, well, okay, Mostert's out. He's done. He's out of the game. So you take him out of your fantasy football lineup. Devon Achane, he's going to try to warm up prior to the game. It does not look good. So then what are you stuck with? In my opinion, you're stuck with Tyreek Hill. I mean, look, if you're going to start in daily fantasy or regular, you're going to start Tyreek Hill regardless. Expect him to go off. They're going to be tossing the ball everywhere. I don't see them running the ball. Jeff Wilson Jr. will probably get the start. And look, he's a viable running back. Jeff Wilson Jr. is a great running back for backing up those two guys. But is he Achane? No. Is he Mostert? No. But he can get it done. I don't know if you start him fantasy-wise. Maybe you do. Maybe you take a long shot on him. There's another running back they have as well, so they might get split carries. We'll see. We'll see. But this ought to be a fun game. This should be playoff atmosphere. These are two teams that are expected to make the playoffs. They're in the same division, obviously, so this will be an absolutely balls-to-the-wall game. I'm excited to watch this tonight, and it is on Amazon Prime Video. I'm going to take, let's see, Buffalo gave up 28 points last week. Miami gave up 17. Ooh, 48.5. That's a lot, man. 25. Give me Buffalo straight up on this game. I have a problem with the injuries on the Miami side. I really do. So I do like Buffalo straight up on this game tonight. Mostert's already been ruled out, as we said. We'll see what Josh Allen has. There's some long shots. You can grab a tight end if you're doing daily fantasy in this game. We'll see. Tua's going to throw the ball. I know that. Tua's going to chunk the ball everywhere. Josh Allen, probably not as much. I expect Tua to probably throw 40 times. That's not a good thing. Josh Allen threw 23 last week, Tua 37. And if you can't run the ball, if you're Miami, Buffalo's going to load that box and make Tua throw. He's going to get 40-plus throws. We're going to see a lot about Tua Tagovailoa tonight. I'll tell you that. That is for sure. It's going to be fun. I'm here for it. Let's get into the other games going on this weekend. There is no Friday game. There was last week, obviously, but no Friday game today. Sunday, the Saints at the Cowboys. This game is interesting. Really, really interesting. I get it. Cowboys look good last week. They just did all the things right, I guess, but the New Orleans Saints looked absolutely phenomenal. If you want to talk about an early test, this is an early test to see where the Saints, where the Saints stand. Cowboys obviously expected to go deep into the playoffs. The Saints, they're not expected to do anything, but they looked phenomenal last week. Derek Carr with 3 touchdowns, 200 yards. This will be fun to watch. I'm excited. Out of all the games, that's probably the one that I'm really excited to watch. It's a noon game. It's in Dallas and Arlington. So it's Dallas -6. I like the Saints plus the 6. I like that a ton. I think this will be closer than a lot of people think. And the Saints have a shot. They got a puncher's chance of winning that game. So we'll see what happens. Buccaneers and Lions. Baker Mayfield may have finally found a home. Good for him. I know Baker gets a lot of heat because of his college days and his attitude and a lot of drama that comes with the Baker Mayfield logo. But look, dude, this guy had 300 yards passing and 4 touchdowns last week. Baker Mayfield may be the real deal in Buckland. I absolutely dig Baker Mayfield this year. This may be his year. He found a home. And look, if you're on the flip side of that, he had to leave because of Deshaun Watson. Now we all see what the hell is going on with Deshaun. Wow. Cleveland may have found their out. And I heard on the Dan Le Batard show yesterday that Cleveland was pretty much leaking this information, hoping that this went to a trial, basically, because Cleveland will be let off of their financial responsibility to Deshaun Watson if he gets convicted or anything further goes with this. I just, look, Deshaun's probably not it. I said a long time ago, his mental capability after what happened in Houston was just out the door, and you have to be so mentally strong to play the quarterback position in the NFL. He's just not there. He's just not there. I don't think he'll ever get back there. Unfortunately, it was too much for him to deal with all the lawsuits. But now he's got another one, and I think Cleveland's trying to get off the hook over there. If you're Cleveland, wouldn't you? Deshaun Watson looks terrible. He is not the future. If I'm Cleveland, if Deshaun was playing out of his mind right now, and it was at the end of last year and beginning of this year, and he was just, slinging it, and it looked like the old school Deshaun Watson, then yeah, Cleveland would probably think twice. But now, I bet Cleveland's trying to look forward. They're trying to move past Deshaun Watson. And, of course, you're going to try to save as much money as possible because, as of right now, it looks like the worst trade in the history of the NFL. The Houston Texans absolutely got a steal in that trade. Look at who the Texans got for Deshaun Watson. All the number 1 picks, all the number 2 picks. It's unbelievable. And now the Browns are trying to get out from underneath Deshaun Watson. It's just a bad deal over there. And they're talented. Cooper and Njoku. They've got Jerome Ford back there. They've got running backs. Look, Cleveland's a talented team. They had the wrong leader. That's the problem. Deshaun Watson is not the deal. He's in more trouble. I look for Cleveland to try to get out of this entire thing with Deshaun Watson. If I was, I'd move straight on. Look, guys, thank you all for tuning in right now. If y'all are tuning in on Facebook, if you're listening to the podcast, thanks for downloading it. If you're listening on Instagram, if you're listening on Twitch, anywhere else, Spotify, Twitter, what are we on? LinkedIn. We're all kinds, man. Appreciate it. Leave some comments. I'll try to get to them as soon as I can. We're just scrolling through the NFL games for this weekend. Next one up, Colts and the Packers. Here we go. Jordan Love out for at least 4 weeks. Right now, it's Indianapolis -3. It should be. I expect Richardson to absolutely go ham on this game. Anthony Richardson should have a field day versus the Packers. Now, I get it. Young, good defense in Green Bay. This could be a trap game. I don't know, but you don't have Jordan Love. I bet the demeanor in that locker room is probably shot. So I'm probably going to bet the Colts this weekend, even though it's a tough one. But I like Anthony Richardson in fantasy, and I love the Colts. Well, I don't love the Colts, but I like the Colts in that game. The Jets and the Titans. These are the two teams that are in desperate need of a win. Neither one of these teams can afford to go 0-2. Number one, the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers cannot afford to fall 0-2. The New York media, we all know how it is, will start jumping down his throat. The Titans, they just don't want to end up where everybody thinks they're going to be. Bottom of the barrel. And we'll see. Both those teams are in desperate early season W. Right now, it's only the Jets -3.5. That tells you, and Tennessee's at home, that tells you this is pretty much a pick'em game. And that's scary if you're a New York Jet fan. You've got Breece Hall, Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson. You guys should be going off. Lazard went nuts last week, 2 touchdowns and 90 yards. Man. The Jets, if they don't win by 14, there's going to be a lot of problems. Lots of problems. Both those teams in desperate need of an early season W. Don't want to fall 0-2. Next up, 49ers, Vikings. Fun game. I don't know if the 49ers are going to rush Christian McCaffrey back for the Vikings game. It's a long season. I wouldn't rush him, especially if Mason's, Mason had 28 carries, 147 and a touchdown last week. I would keep him. Just Christian McCaffrey's got a calf issue and an Achilles issue. Let him rest until maybe you get an L. But right now, they look great. They looked great last week. They're playing a Vikings team in Minnesota that's pretty decent. Not bad at all. I don't think either one, like 49ers can afford to go 1-1, so can the Vikings. There's not a must win there. I think this is more about if Christian McCaffrey will play and how steady Brock Purdy can be. Look, all Brock Purdy has to be in that Kyle Shanahan offense is just steady. Just weather all the storms and just keep. It's almost Tom Brady-ish. And I hate to bring that up in the same breath, but just throw your little out routes every now and then. Take a deep shot. The offense is absolutely geared towards him just doing what's necessary. He doesn't have to go over the top. He doesn't have to blow people out. He just has to do what's necessary in that offense. It's set up perfect for him. Seahawks and Patriots, whatever. I'm not trying to be rude. Look, both those fan bases, great fan bases in Seattle and in New England, obviously. But I guess the only thing coming out of New England is that your owner's pissed off that Jerry Jones got in the Hall of Fame before him. We all saw that. Wow. His comments were actually pretty hysterical. But, old Richmond getting mad at one another. I can't get too upset at them. Giants and Commanders. Okay. These are the couple of games that are just not on the board for me. Watchable. I don't think I'm going to bet these. By the way, the Seahawks-Patriots game is Seahawks -3.5. Giants and Commanders is Washington -1.5. There's just nothing that there's not even fantasy football relevancy in any of these. I'm not starting Daniel Jones. I'm not starting Jaden Daniels. Maybe Jaden Daniels. Maybe. He had 16 carries as a quarterback, 88 yards and 2 touchdowns last week, right? So that makes you think. But, man, listen. What happened to RG3 when he started running the football in Washington? Yeah, that's right. Ended his career. If I'm a head coach of Washington, you make him throw the ball and stop carrying the ball 16 times. That is a recipe for disaster. Your star quarterback, the future of your franchise, will get hurt. These are NFL players. So if he's carrying the ball 16 times, Washington, sorry, you got problems. Chargers and Panthers. Wow. I posted something on Sports with Balls yesterday on Facebook. And the comparison with Jaden Daniels, the first 17 games of his career. Go to Sports with Balls, check it out. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. This is Chargers -6. I like that. Bryce Young is just they're gonna have to blow me away. He's gonna have to really start stepping up. I said it when he came out. He's just way too small. Bryce Young is a tiny, tiny human being. And I get it. He played at Alabama. Those guys are huge. They're NFL worthy. But man, it's not resonating. Not with me, not with fans. The Panthers look terrible. The Carolina Panthers look absolutely terrible. And it starts with Bryce Young. They're 0-1. Chargers 1-0. I like the Chargers in that game. Browns and the Jaguars. We've already gone over this. Deshaun Watson 169, 1 touchdown, 2 picks already. If it gets worse this week, you're going to start seeing some massive media coverage on Deshaun Watson if he throws 2 more picks and they lose again. Jacksonville in desperate need of a win. They got to win that. It's at home. That's a must-win game for Jacksonville. You can't start off going 0-2. And the Titans, if they get a win, they'll be ahead of you. And the Colts, man. That division, by the way, with the Texans, Colts, Jaguars, and Titans, that's turned into a competitive division now. New quarterbacks. We'll see what happens. Raiders at the Ravens. Baltimore -9. Ooh, that is tough. An NFL game -9. Give me the Raiders plus the 9. I like them to turn it up. We'll see what happens with Isaiah Likely as well. Last week, Isaiah Likely had a killer game. Deshaun Jackson. Lamar Jackson found him in the end zone. He had 111 yards, 9 receptions. Mark Andrews obviously got hurt last year. He's their number 1 tight end, but it looks like Likely's taking over. I drafted Mark Andrews in my fantasy prior to Likely, but I did have him as a backup in a couple of leagues, so not that big of a deal, but I would go trade for Likely if I were you. Rams at Cardinals that start the afternoon games. Matt Stafford and Kyler Murray. This will be an absolute shootout. An absolute start Kyler Murray, start Matt Stafford, start Cooper Kupp in all your fantasy leagues. This will be a blast. Over-unders at 47.5. Arizona -1 is the spread. Kyler Murray's just getting comfortable. I love this game. That's going to be a fun game to watch. Steelers at the Broncos. this is interesting because the Broncos fall to 0-2. You're going to start to see some real murmurs about head coach Sean Payton. I like Bo Nix over there. I really like the pick, but I believe, and this is an incredible stat that I read, Bo Nix average yards per pass last week was 3.3 yards. That's insane. You have to throw the ball down the field. That is crazy. He only averaged 3.3 yards per attempt. That's nuts. So Bo Nix got to let the ball go. Bengals and Chiefs, love it. Absolutely love it. You guys, I told you last week, Bengals, Joe Burrow and the Bengals are slow starters. Very, very slow. I do like Kansas City in this game. Could be because it's in Kansas City. If it was in Cincinnati, maybe a little different. But the Bengals may fall to 0-2. Chiefs go to 2-0. Bears at the Texans on Sunday freaking night. To me, a little bit of a trap game. Right now, it's Texans -6. I like the Bears plus the 6. I think the Texans, look, they ran the ball well. C.J. Stroud was great on 3rd and 4th down. But the offensive line didn't look as great as you would like for the Bears. We'll see. I think this is a close game. If Houston -3, different story. But Houston -6, give me the Bears plus the 6 as far as that goes. All right, that's what else we got in the NFL? Anything else? Any breaking news? I'm not going to sit here and talk about Unc. I know y'all want me to. He get busted on Instagram with his sexual exploitations, dude. Was he trying to video? How did he hit the Instagram live button? Man. Come on, Sharp. Got to be better than that. Got to be better than that. I think he had there's a funny little insert on his podcast last night with Ocho Cinco. Go listen to that if you get an opportunity, because that's pretty funny. Ocho was telling him he needs to stop getting in the weight room and get in some cardio. That was pretty damn funny. All right, some NCAA news. Boise State among 4 schools joining the Pac-12 for the 2026-2027 season. Oregon State, Washington State. Let's see. They'll join Oregon State and Washington State. Boise State, Colorado State, San Diego State, and Fresno State will join the Pac-12. Guys, I'll be honest with you. I don't give a shit. This whole conference thing, I'm over it. I'm absolutely over it. Y'all start switching, moving everywhere. Like, just go away with the conferences. Absolutely go away with them. I can't even tell you some of these schools and what conference they're in anymore. It's ridiculous. Like, why are we even having these conferences? Maybe just split them up into some other things. But, man, dude, y'all jumping the Pac-12. Okay, sure. You know what I love is that Texas and Georgia, who are 1-2, are on a collision course to meet in the regular season. Texas also has their rivalry with Oklahoma and their rivalry with Texas A&M all renewed. That's what I love. I don't care about what conference you're in. Set these guys up with some good games. This moving conference stuff is just freaking ridiculous. And then you got Notre Dame, who's not even in a conference. They're just solo. Whatever, man. Sure. So Boise State, Colorado State, y'all can go join the Pac-12. Sure. Sounds great. What else we got, man? Anything else on the NFL or NCAA? I went over the games yesterday in the NCAA this weekend. There's only 1 or 2 of them that are actually decent. Arizona and Kansas State, which will be Friday night. That's a pretty good game. LSU and South Carolina. That's a big game. Big game. LSU -7, but South Carolina's 2-0. LSU's 1-1. If LSU falls to South Carolina, they may be out of the playoffs. Very, very interesting. Other than that, there's not too many good, UTSA at Texas. Come on, man. But these are the easy games. Look, we're on an absolute collision course for Texas and Georgia. That's going to be a blast. And that is 4 games before the end of the season. Oh, you're looking at like an early national championship matchup where either one of those teams, it doesn't matter who loses because you're still in the playoffs. You're not going to get mad if 1 and 2 loses to 1 or 2. That's fantastic. Can't wait for that. Major League Baseball playoffs are coming up. How many games do we have left in the MLB. Let's see, 162. What do we got? It's at 146. Wow. That's not a lot. So 18 games left? Man. The Yankees, game and a half up on the Orioles for American League East, that is. Guardians, 4.5 up on the Royals in the Central. The Astros, who are 4-6 in their last 10 games, are actually falling back now. It's very interesting. They've got a 3-game set coming up with the Mariners, who's only 3.5 games back of them. The Astros have dropped 2 in a row to the Oakland Athletics, who are surprisingly 27-20 since the All-Star break. Pretty interesting. Philadelphia Phillies pretty much have the National League East locked up. Milwaukee Brewers in the National League Central, they got that locked up. And the Dodgers are going at it with the Diamondbacks and the Padres in the West. Now, I believe the Dodgers, Diamondbacks, and Padres will all make the playoffs in the National League, which is going to be amazing. So you'll have the Phillies and either the Mets or the Braves, and you'll have the Brewers, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Padres. I mean, it's almost set. It's just a matter of where they fall. The big competition is the Mets and the Braves going at it for probably the last spot in the National League. Man, that'll be a lot of fun. The American League's it's way more complicated. Way more complicated. You got the Guardians, the Royals, the Twins, the Yankees, the Orioles, the Astros, maybe the Mariners. You've got the Phillies, the Mets, the Braves. They're all still in it. So American League, I'm sorry, that was National League. But you got the Astros, Twins, Royals, Guardians, Yankees, Orioles, all of them. Oh, who else is making in there? Oh, in Seattle. So there you go. We'll see. We'll get more into the MLB playoffs as we get closer to them. Probably next week we'll start rounding out. People are going to start clinching here probably by the end of this weekend. You'll see a couple of clinching games. Let's see, but we'll see. We know we know some eliminated teams: Marlins, Rockies, Angels, White Sox. The Toronto Blue Jays, surprisingly, are not eliminated from the playoffs. They got 69 wins, and they have a 0.1% chance of getting to the playoffs. And there's teams that are probably going to, well, they could roll off. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, and today's events and today's history, let's see. Brooklyn Dodgers clinched the NL pennant earlier than any other team, defeating Milwaukee Braves 5-2. Brooklyn finished as a season of 105-49. That's in 1953. By the way, we're not going to have a 100-win team this year for the first time since 2004, I believe, in baseball. What else we got? U.S. women's tennis. There's a lot. Man, tennis. U.S. men's. Wow. There is a lot of tennis. The 1976 Seattle Seahawks play their first regular season game. They lose to St. Louis 30-24. Man, in 1976, the Seattle Seahawks began. Wow. 1979, Boston Red Sox. Carl Yastrzemski gets his 3,000th hit off of New York Yankee Jim Beadle. Let's see, 81, Red Sox rookie Bob Oweda no-hits the Yanks for 8 innings before Rick Cerrone and Dave Winfield lead off the 9th with back-to-back doubles. How is that? Oh, here we go. This is a big one. Absolutely love this. 1984, New York Met great Dwight Gooden sets the rookie strikeout record at 251 strikeouts. Woo, Doc Gooden, baby. That just reminds me of being a kid and grabbing the baseball cards, man. And when you got a Doc Gooden, you were just him and Darryl Strawberry. If you haven't seen that 30 for 30 on Doc and Darryl, go check it out. It's absolutely unbelievable. Vince Coleman steals his 100th base for the 3rd straight year in 1987. Used to love Vince Coleman and the St. Louis Cardinals. Where else? Nolan Ryan's 4-3 victory over the Minnesota Twins is his 312th career win. That's in 1991. Paul Molitor, 37, oldest to reach 100 RBIs. And that's going to do it. Everything else is U.S. Open, stuff like that. Listen, guys, thank you for tuning in to the show. I'm Jeff Michael. This is Sports and Balls podcast version coming straight up after this. Y'all have a good day.